Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Brown and AI. I'm Jackie Brown, just like the movie. And I thank you if you are a returning viewer or a subscriber. Thank you for coming back. Oh, we really appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We try to discuss all things AI. Really just me taking you along on my journey of going from the marketing field into the land of AI. And just some of the things that I've been creating, pretty much me on my journey to kind of build my own Jarvis, my own interactive AI agent that will help me and assist me with all parts of my life. And then also I have this small dream, yes, small, yeah, of creating my own large language model. Just something that I kind of progress to after using various different language models and just wanting something that would be a little bit more specialized to me. Will it ever go on market? Who knows? But that's something that I've wanted to do. I love working with AI. I really started to find out about AI in 2016. And since then, it's just been a wonderful part of my life that I have started to move to make it more of my everyday thing, moving from the marketing field into the AI engineering field industry. And being a creative source and using it and building tools and for businesses and different things like that, just so we can use it to make our life a lot easier because it really has made an impact in mine. Um, so I know it's been a little minute, and this will kind of be a little bit basic. I have started a something that I have said on my previous video is that um I have started to take more certifications and started to participate in various schools and groups on the development side of AI. And the more and more I learned about AI and various forms of artificial intelligence, I was like, oh my God, everyday people need to know these things. Because I think it would help us as we're sending our prompts or trying to use it in everyday life. And for all the different features that are being integrated in of AI that are being integrated into our life, like Google has its own Gemini version that anytime you put in something into a search engine, it automatically spits up a AI generated answer versus just taking you to the definition or taking you to a website on that answer, that would have the content of your answer. It just gives you an answer before you even get to a website. You don't even have to look at a website now. So I think if we knew like where AI came from, how it works, how it functions, various things about it, that we would be able to use it better and it could help us a lot more in our everyday life, especially for the everyday person. Because everybody is not tech savvy. Most people don't want to go into the back end. So I try to make it put it into plain language so that you can understand. I have started a AI basics series here on YouTube. The one for YouTube. And I would suggest if you are new to AI or even if you're old, I would suggest just sitting down, looking at some of the videos. We were talking about everything. We talk about where AI came from, how it works. We talk about hallucinations. We're talking about AI and government. It's a 20-part series. We're talking about using AI in school, what parents need to know as you're doing those different things. Very easy, very palatable videos that don't last that long, but kind of give you information. Like I said, I believe the more that you know about how AI works, what's been done with it, where it's going, what technology is out there, that the more you understand, the better you can use it. And you can kind of safeguard yourself. That's another thing that we do talk about is AI and privacy and security. But this video, some of my other videos, I kind of with full-fledged into vibe coding and different things like that, creating unlovable using the various tools. So I really in a whole try to take a step back. So we're going to come back a little bit. We're just going to hit at some of the basics. So today, this video is really what is generative AI, and then some versions that are already out there that you probably already know. Some of the heavy hitters like OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, kind of going over those, showing you various things or what's on it, so yes, you'll know how to use it and just some of the cool things that you can do with it. Okay, so first, let's start off with getting a definition. So generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence. It's not the only type of artificial intelligence that is out there. And it's not the only type that you're using, but if you're using Claude or Claude Chat, or if you're using ChatGPT, you're using generative AI. And it's an artificial intelligence that creates new content instead of analyzing and sorting information. AI has been around for a very, very long time, very long time, but most of the original forms of AI, artificial intelligence, really just kind of learned and received information and would analyze and it was sorted. It was able to get complete directions. It was very kind of like give and take, very simple. It would do various little things like sorting, analyzing, very simple. It would be able to tell you what was spam, just because of different things that it would be looking for in your emails. So very simple, just kind of like analyzing different things and able to give you an answer. Okay. But generative AI, it learns patterns from a huge amount of existing data, from text, which would be like articles, books, now web searches, different things like that, images, various images, from paintings all of down to just very graphic design images, music, forms of music, video, and code, or etc. And then it generates something new that looks or sounds similar. Okay, so that's like when if you're using Nano Banana inside of ChatGPT or like any of the other versions, you can put in, you can put in a picture and be like, oh, put us at the Caribbean. And it's able to give you something similar. It takes what it looks at, and then it's like, oh, we can generate a different thing. Or if you put into ChatGPT, how you upload your information for your resume. Oh, please create me a resume. And then it's able to generate something that will take your content, mix it up, and give you something similar. Now, I will also say, if you're paying attention to my beautiful background, as we get creative, I love it. Let me show you it all. This was AI generated. I put in I needed I want a futuristic landscape for a background to put onto Zoom, and this is one of the ones it gave me. Because here we we're building for the future. So I wanted something nice and creative, and this is what it gave me. So pretty much you can put those types of commands in or prompts into ChatGPT or anything like that, and then it's able to generate something. Just think of generative AI as AI that creates, you know. Um and some examples would be for like text would be like, oh, write me a email that sounds like me, or my last day email, or a congratulation letter or something like that. Write a blog post. A lot of that's a big thing now. You know, taking a blog post. Oh, this sounds like me. These are some of the previous blogs I have written. Give me a new blog on a different subject. Coming up with ideas for subjects. Oh, is a great way of using generative AI. Just are looking for slogans, names, um when we go and look at OpenAI, some of my previous GPTs that I created was it was a baby namer. Not very relevant anymore, but when GPTs were first thing, it was like, oh, trying to think of a name for a baby. It wasn't having a baby, but trying to think of a name for a baby. I also created one that kind of gave a business slogan, visionary thing too. But yeah, but trying to think of a name for a baby, able to put in what type of name you wanted, something to think of, and then spitting out giving you a couple names for a baby that would go along with that type of personality or whatever you wanted it to be. Um but yeah, AI is also generative AI is also really, really good for writing scripts. Oh my God. This is something I use even if you have some of the AI basic series, it wrote the scripts. Writing any kind of answering any kind of questions, with the thought that AI does make mistakes and it will create some things that don't exist. Always keep that in mind. Which is a hallucination, which we do have a video on that is coming. But not that it always gets it right or not that it always knows. It's just creating. And sometimes it creates the wrong answer. But then also another example of generative AI that is really wonderful and from coming from the marketing field has really kind of changed how we're able to produce content is creating pictures, thumbnails. The thumbnail that you're going to see for this video, AI most likely did it. You're really using ChatGPT and Nana Banana, but it's really great in creating thumbnails to where it used to take you a while. You're trying to put little things together. Able just tell it what you want, it's able to spit it out. Logos. I would say it would assist you with making logos. Logos used to be, I'm telling you, any kind of graphic um creating graphics on a computer it took some time. I've kind of grew up in that system to where I was more for the painting part. I prefer to do it offline than online, but it has made it so much easier. I haven't created a logo in a long time, but I'm pretty sure it would probably come up with something really cool, something unique, something that you don't really see out there, and various forms of artwork. Like I said, things like this background that I have up now. AI is wonderful for creating artwork. Now I will also say it is wonderful for copying too. Sometimes it doesn't look exactly the way you want something to look. It will come out with something similar, but it is a good copier. So for those that are out there, I would say start to make sure you protect your work or you have something on your work that you are able to show that this is yours. And I think that would have to be something in as AI grows and get better, that's something that we all need to start to kind of think of kind of like how to copyright, how to protect our images, how to protect our work. So that it can't be copied. Now, also, it comes another great example of using generative AI is video. Like I said, this video will probably be edited by AI. You CapCut uses AI. I mean, it's so many things. Canva is another great tool. They have a form of AI. It's just so much easier. My favorite video software is in video. Like I'm trying to move on beyond it, but I love NVIDIA. I when they came out with their AI version, I was one of the first people to start using it. I love it. You put in a prompt. I will say now, uh there's so many versions that you can kind of like before you have to really think of your idea like, oh my god, I want this to be anime and this and that, and you don't even have to get that detail. It's best to kind of make sure that the AI kind of stays focused on what you want, but you don't even have to be that detailed with your examples anymore. You can just kind of put in like a really basic amount of information, and AI will generate very close to what you want. And then you go back in and just edit it. It is so, you guys, it's so much easier. I when I graduated, oh my God, even in school, if some of these things were around, oh my God, the marketing field would have been so much different. I can only imagine now. I love to go back to one of those classes, those formative classes in the field in graphic design, and just kind of take them all over again, because AI has really, really, really changed the marketing field. It made so many different things that took graphic designers days to do. Projects that, um, took hours to complete are so simple now. So simple. So if you're a business owner, now I'm all, hey, I understand that everybody doesn't want to do everything anymore. People don't want to, if that's not something you love doing, you don't want to do it. But if you're trying to keep your costs down, or if you're trying to just keep, you have no problem with some of the basics, there are so many tools out there that you can just go use, that you don't have to go and get a graphic designer, or go and hire someone, or get a marketer, or go on Fiverr or Upwork and get someone to create. Now, it's best, I do, professionals are pros for a reason. It's best, but if you don't have the resources to pay, especially for like video generation, oh, used to be so expensive. Oh my God. Um from writing the scripts to doing the storyboards to getting your images to uh editing editing in the early 2000s. I mean, I couldn't even imagine going back. So much harder. Oh my God, it was so much harder. Now you can throw videos in CapCut, trim off little things. It can take the ums out of certain things, make it so much easier. It's so easy, you guys. Cut off pauses. Oh, you want to take this out? It's so much easier, you guys. It's so much easier. So if you don't have the tolerance to do it, go find a professional. But if you do, you have the patience and you're willing to learn something new, hey, there's so many tools out there that make it so easy for you to come up with content for your business, to come up with just post all of that. Just the simplest things for your business that it used to take days to do. Another thing that AI has really been great with is music and audio. I think this is so cool. For me, this is like one of those cool things. Like, yes, when I first kind of got started to use AI, like I said, I came from marketing, and it was like, oh my God, AI was kind of really impeding into that industry. Uh, Something that was hard to get was audio, voices, voiceovers. It still kind of sounded metallic or robotic, it didn't sound humanistic. Now it's getting a lot better. If you have been on hold or anything like that, or you kind of been on hold for like a bill or anything, you kind of can notice that the sound of AI, or the sound of those voices, are getting a lot better. And if you want to do any kind of voiceover in or you have a script and you don't want to sit down and record the whole thing the whole day, like now, and use your physical person anymore, AI has really helped in that field, and it makes it sound just like you. So it's really, really great. Something like 11 Labs. 11 Labs is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool. See, I'm trying to give you all nuggets as we're going through this, but AI 11 Labs is a wonderful tool, and it you can use the API to connect to pretty much any kind of system. Most systems will take 11 Labs now, because it's such a great tool as you are looking for audio, especially voiceovers or different things like that. Something that I've been using it for here lately is trying to get the voice for the Jarvis I want, my Edwin Jarvis. for my AI agent that I'm building. I didn't want him to completely sound like the Jarvis that you get on that came from the Marvel comic. So he has a little twist to him. But um something else that I need to do, I haven't, like, if you watch this video, my intro, I don't have like a theme song. And I've been thinking about it lately. I was like, you should have a theme song. Because most of the time when you would put content onto your YouTube videos, you might get it'll be like it's free. Oh, you can use it, but then you upload it to YouTube and YouTube be like, no, that's a copyright infringement. So I kind of decided, hey, maybe I should come up with my own theme song for Brown in AI. And I'll probably take you all along. Building probably out of 11 labs or something. I've heard of Suno or so something. We're gonna use something. We're gonna use something to create my theme song and then probably take you all along because we love building on this channel. Now I will say this. Now, the other thing that generative AI is really great for is code. Code, you guys. I know it's one of those fields that, like, if you're not into computer science or any kind of computer languages or anything like that, Python, Java, any of that, if you're not using it, if you don't have to use it, it was, I have ran from code too. Especially with building websites and different things like that. It was so much easier to do to pardon me, to do templates and different things like that. But now generative AI like Codex, Claude Code has made coding software so much easier. You all know that some of my videos before were done with Lovable, which is a vibe coding SaaS that helps you build websites, apps, and different things like that. But now with Codex and being able to just put in the idea, like put in Claude Code. Hey, I want something I did here recently. I want to build a CRM, uh, which is huge. I want to build a CRM. I want to have a dashboard to it. I want to be able to it to look like this and to have this type of look, and it spits it out. Actually, at this point, Claude Code will actually build it for you. And you can see, the code that it writes, oh my god, it's so much easier. Even with like OpenClaw, trying to configure OpenClaw, god, I'm not I haven't I'm coming to this industry. I wasn't This is not my the industry I was training. I am learning this, and learning code has been very difficult over the years. At the times I have attempted to kind of learn to, even do the little things I've done. And nowadays it is so much easier, you guys. It is so much easier to uh write code, to debug code, because normally, even if you put your ID in there, stuff like that, the code generates blah blah blah, it may be the wrong thing for what you're trying to do, or you'll put it in there and it'd be like it wouldn't work. Like even with using like NAN and stuff like that, before you would try to put in different because there's a view that you can actually write the code in. Like, you run into errors and you would never know why. Now drop it into Claude Code, and it is tell you what you're missing. It'll tell you why this didn't connect to that. It's so much easier. Coding has been in writing computer programs, creating apps, creating websites, um has became so much easier with AI. And it's a great tool to kind of check your work to make sure to see, like I said, for debugging, it's one of the best things. I just if you run into an error, you throw it back into Claude Code or Claudex. And I haven't really used Claudex that much. I just throwing it back into ChatGPT before. Um it was just a wonderful, wonderful system. So I want you to think of traditional AI. Like I said, there are so many forms of AI, but traditional AI was the thinking, the pulling from databases, the sorting, able to look at something, able to find things that were wrong, stuff like that, more so as traditional AI. But now the AI that we're kind of moving towards, that we're constantly using right now, that we're able to just like put in the idea, AI is able to think and kind of build and create something different. In plain language, generative AI studies millions, actually billions of examples, and then it learns patterns so well that it can generate new content that almost feel human made. It can create new pictures, new things that feel human. So I wanted to show you some of the forms of generative AI that we're using on a normal basis. Some of these different programs you already know, these large language models you already know. And then kind of just going over the basics of what is on their uh their user interface so that you can kind of navigate through it. So we'll start off with the cream of the crop, the original of them all. Let me pull up my screen. We're going to pale up the king, the original. Oh, actually, I like it in a little bitty uh square. But we'll pull up the original, the one that started it all, the one that most people know, which is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a large language model. Give me a second. I'm gonna do a little self promo right there. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, builds you images. So we talked about this quite a bit. So we'll get on to my little flyer in a minute. But for ChatGPT, ChatGPT is most known. As far as I know, it was the original LLM that you could have contact with. It was the one that I used the most. I still use it, you guys. I still use it. I can't get away from ChatGPT. I learned so much here. Um Now, huh, since they've signed that government contract for surveillance and what your content, things that you're writing and you're creating inside of the program, I have an issue with. So I have migrated most of my um things to Claude. I will not lie, I have. But I still can't get over ChatGPT. It was the first large language model I've learned how to use, and I've been oh wow. If I could show you all of my chats, it's been ages. But most of the large language model user interfaces are pretty much similar. You'll have your chat area. We can go to a new chat. Sorry, I have a lot of things running. As you can see, it's the tabs on the side. But you have your chat area where you're able to put in your prompt or your question or whatever it is that you want to write. And then this is usually where everything is created on this side. And then over here you'll have your various tools and different things like that. So you have chat. And this wasn't always so. I wish I really had recorded long time ago when I first started out. I might have to go find a older version because this, even the options on the side have grown. But you usually have a chat window and a new chat where you can start over. You have a way of searching your chats. And then something new with ChatGPT, they now have projects on there. That's something that I've kind of gotten familiar with Claude that I use quite a bit, because the thing with chat is that it was supposed to be that as long as you were in that feed, it would kind of keep that idea. But it wasn't always so. Before, it wasn't always so. Sometimes the large language model would forget what you were talking about, or if you get too far in your chat, that's something to do with context management. Something that we probably have 21 videos in our basic AI basic series, because we need to talk about context management, which is something else that people nearly need to know about. But it would start to forget what you were talking about, and a lot of the systems have become a lot better. But projects is kind of a way to kind of group in a lot of different things that you're talking about. And when we get to Claude, I can kind of show you that a little bit more, because I've really used that one. Um, but it's kind of like to keep one idea in one spot as you're still doing all these different chats and tasks and different things like that. So like if you have a YouTube page, you can have one chat that you're talking about what ideas you want to use, and then you can have another one that's talking about your scripts. It's a nice way to keep everything together. You can have another one that's doing the thumbnails for it, and just kind of keep everything together. Codex is their coding um version. I will say this is not the free version, not the most expensive. I'm on Plus, as you can see down here. But so you usually have to go up higher tiers for you to get access to like coding. But that is something that's there. There are more, which will be your images, library, deep research. Deep research will be if you're trying to go very intensive research into an idea, or that's when it starts to pull more sources, starts to really think beyond just a surface information, and it really has to like come up with kind of like the perplexity type answer. Really good for doing blogs or research papers, different things like that. Really good. I really haven't looked at the apps. I'm not sure what the apps are. Let's see. Like I said, I've been on Claude, but not really. Okay, so like implementing like Canva, different things, and okay, yeah. Um, because at one point you had to bring the API over to see my lovable. You had to bring your API key over to ChatGPT so it could connect, but now they're making it so much easier. Like Airtable, Canva, something I use a lot. Lovable, being able to, it's already integrated into the system, which is really cool. Uh, Back to that. These are some of the GPTs that I created. Like I said, I had my naming, baby naming buddy GPT that I created many many moons ago. Um, See, trying to create your perfect thing, your perfect name. These things you don't really even need anymore. You can bring GPTs over into various systems, but you don't even really need them. It was kind of like before it was almost like a project based to where you could put your information in, but it was like you kind of wrote the rules of how this GPT would operate and what it was to look like, but you don't even you I'm sure people are not really even using those anymore. Another one that I created was a business visionary. I really wanted to get something together to where people could like you could kind of put in the idea and it would spit you out a slogan and all these other different things and all these things that would go along with it without, and that was kind of like the way I wrote the rules for it. But you can kind of do that in projects now. Numerology navigator, another one I created. Yeah. I'm self promo this time. Numerology navigator, something else I created using and with that it was kind of like using numerology and astrology to kind of give you, things that will go along with you, because of, as you know, with numerology it's like your number um would have influence on your life and kind of help you use it to kind of, navigate how you want to go about your life. But yeah, so those are some of the GPTs on mine that I created. They still come up. Wow, let me just look and see how many are still out there. This is crazy because yeah, okay. Okay, so they're pretty much like various tools that, yeah, like Write With Me. The thing was is that when GPTs first came out, they were um a way of focusing the large language model to create a certain type of answer or give a certain type of thing. Like Midjourney grew out of a GPT. Um, it was a really, really big GPT at first. And so, yeah, now it's kind of integrating kind of like with apps. Color Book Hero, so that's pretty cool and created by the GPT team. So besides that, then you kind of go into your chats. And so I won't go through all of mine. But it's usually your chat feed. Various chats you have talked about and you have looked at over the years. Um, and different things like that. So, but most of them look the same, but that's ChatGPT, the king of them all, the original. Other things, and then you usually have like your information, your system. Now for GPT, okay, I want to show you the plans that are out there because with large language models, most of them cost. Okay. Um, Most of them cost. There are free versions, and it's usually just the chat where you will receive answers. And I stayed on chat for a very just on the free version, especially GPT, for a while. Especially anytime I learn a new start to use a new large language model, I usually stay on the free version for quite a bit, so I can see what all I can do. Usually the biggest thing is that you'll run out of um tokens, and then it you can't ask it any more questions. So that usually when that frustrates you too much, then you should move on to something else. But these are some of the options. Let's start with the personal because we always like to start with personal. Um, these are some of the options out there. Um, I'm on Plus, which is $20 a month. I'm not in Pro. I'm not in Pro even. I was about to say no because I don't use it as much anymore. But I'm not on Pro and Claude either. But there's so many different things that you can do with as you go into other um versions or you move up the tiers. So if you know you're going to create a lot of images, if you know you have to write a lot of papers or anything like that, I would say move up accordingly. Um But those are some of the options out there. Okay. That's the personal plan, and here's the business plan. See, I could do the Chat GPT and Claude X for 20. Huh, might have to move over. I might have to move over. Since I'm already paying $20 anyway. But but because I haven't really started to play with Codex yet. Um but like I said, for code, for building websites, different things like that. I love Lovable, still kind of use it, but the large language models and their backing their the like NVIDIA and all of those, Google, they're really picking up the slack, you guys. They're building the different things into the system that you don't even really have to go to other places to other tools as you used to. Now let's go to Gemini. Now I will say this, I haven't really used Gemini, as you can tell down here. I'm not even sure where this where that check came from. But I haven't really started using Gemini. I really kind of signed up here recently, within the last day or so. And it was because um I put that in what's new because I wanted to talk about one of the features that are new that Gemini now has that I saw online, and I was like, oh my God. Um, and it's Gemini Omni. Their AI generative um image and video creation. Uh they also, I believe, are using Nana Banana. I think this might, I saw some things online. Because Google really is Anthropic, uh ChatGPT have really Claude have really kind of dominated for as large language models, but Google is really giving them a good run for the money. I and I would believe so because Google is through Google search it's integrated into our everyday life. And they have the biggest data set to pull from us putting everything in a Google search and going to Google for maps and everything, images, shopping. They have the biggest data set. So um I never counted Google out. It was just that it took a while for their systems and their interfaces to kind of match with ChatGPT and with Claude. But they're punching back. And some of the large language models they're using, like I said, for I don't, well, maybe I didn't say it on this, but open claude I was using uh gimme what was the other version of oh I can't think of it right now, but I was using Google's large language models for my for open cloud. One, because they're usually free, and free helps, especially with OpenClaw and all the different things that you have to run anytime you would have to go to a skill. Claude does help with the fact that you can everything you're building on Claude and Claude Code. It kind of ties in with your subscription, so you don't, unless you're just doing too much, you kind of, every now and then you'll run out of tokens and stuff like that. But for as Google with Gemini and their various versions of LLMs, it really helps. And most of them are free. Free. So you can go into a full chat of you trying to build something out, you're trying to get the best, and from the bookmark for some of the bookmarks and stepping stones and tests and uh it's up there. It's up there with Claude, for as the accuracy of the large language model. So if you haven't looked Google way, if you haven't thought about it, which I think is extremely hard, because even if you put anything into Google search, it'll give you a Gemini answer. It'll just be like Gemini AI, and then it'll give you an answer. And actually, it kind of, now I know on my phone, it'll switch you into a conversation just with Gemini. You know what I'm saying? So, and it won't even show you the links and stuff like that to other sites. You can just go through that feed and continue to have your conversation about whatever you're trying to ask about. So they are punching back. They are punching back. But like I said, one of the reasons why yeah, the agentic AI, it's really like, yeah, Gemini Spark. It's really, they're giving you they're giving you options that are really competing with Chat GPT and Claude and Claude Code they're giving you a lot of options. But one of the things, like I said, I saw was Gemini Omni and their video and image generation, and like being able to do some of the things that, like I said, I was using in video for, or to create in video AI to create. I was looking at Omni, a few YouTube videos on Omni, and I was like, oh my God, I really need to try this out. But pretty much similar to ChatGPT. Like I said, the king, it started it all. The screens really look the same. You have your chat feed. You can start a new chat, search your chat. You can do images. Yeah, you guys, look at this. Like I said, they are fighting back. They really are. They're fighting back. And then it has a library. Probably of all your various chats. Okay, yeah. Um, a new notebook. Oh, keep working ideas organized. Oh, I'm gonna have to try this, you know. Oh wow, I like the notebooks. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to look into this. Is this just different subjects? Okay. I must be pulling from one source. Ooh. Well, get into this. I am on the free version. Hold on, I do want to show you the other versions for Gemini, as I did for ChatGPT. What is those prices? And the storage. Oh wow. Oh Google. You trying to win me over. I like the way you flirt. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to really, like I said, I just signed up pretty much just for this video. Wanted to kind of go through the process, but I already have a Google account. It kind of just kind of signed me in. Um, and you get to use Notebook LM. Oh my God, you guys, I love Notebook LM. If you're doing research, or if you have, okay, a little for all my college students and younger kids out there, if you are trying to research something, if you have a research paper or something, any something that you have to do detailed research in, because that was one of the hardest. I love learning, but trying to get your sources together and get all the information and reading through all those everything that you had to come up with your research papers for. Oh, Notebook LM. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's your lick right there. It can give you flashcards, summaries. You just put in the source, it starts to hit on the highlights of the main topics. You guys, it'll change your world. So that's my little tinky thing for if you're a college student or anything like that's where you have to write massive research papers or do detailed research. You want to get that little skimming part, you want to go through it really fast, you gotta what 600-page book you need to read, find the digital version, pop it into Notebook LM. It makes it so much easier. um yeah, okay, sorry parents. but but yeah, oh wow, you guys. And then bids. I've started to kind of play with bids. I'm hoping that with Omni it's a little bit better, but vids is okay, but it didn't give the quality of like a CapCut or in video. So I've only kind of played with it, but yeah, we can yeah. So it seemed like Google Flow, maybe more of the cinematic Omni version that will be a little bit better. I'm gonna have to try it out. We'll have to try that out. But yeah, so these are the prices. Ting. On monthly. I usually go monthly. There's your annual. But that's Google Gemini, which is another great. Large language model, it runs very well. Like I said, it's integrated into Google search. If you didn't know what you were using, anytime it was just popping up answers, it's integrated into Google search. So it's another option for you, you know. Now let me show you the beast. And I'm calling it the beast. Okay, let me get to let's talk about Claude. Claude Code, Anthropic came out, to me, not really, but Anthropic came out of nowhere. I remember the original Claude version. It was the original chat version of it. Oh, now I will say that it always kind of gave a more personal tone. To where ChatGPT would kind of give you answers and would kind of be like more robotic answers, more very formal, detailed. It took a while for ChatGPT to kind of get used to uh broken language, which if you've listened to me quite a bit, especially on some of my rambling, you know that I use quite a bit. I love my ebonics. I don't care what you think. I have my voice that I can switch on, but the real girl, the Jackie, you know, I use my ebonics. And so when you're trying to communicate with a large language model, at first it was really hard for it to understand. It would, you know, you would try to kind of go back. Now, pretty much, most people, hey, like you rewrite the way we communicate now and write now, especially with being able to do text messages. Most of the time, we're not capitalizing anything. We are forgetting punctuations and stuff like that. And um ChatGPT kind of had an issue with that a little bit before, but and most definitely when it communicated back, it was very formal. Uh, like writing papers and different things. It didn't really sound like a human talking, and Claude came in and kind of took that um took that crown early on. Now, Claude now is a powerhouse. I switch, as you can see. Now I have I have a nice Rolodex of Claude chats, projects too. I had to switch over. Claude, it really was Claude Code that kind of using Claude Code and through uh Open Claw that really kind of showed me how powerful it is. This is the desktop version. This is downloaded onto my desktop. This isn't the browser version. So you see how much I'm committed to it. This isn't the browser version. This is the desktop version. But Claude Code Anthropic has created a beast. If you are not using it, you should. I've been hearing that quite a few corporations are switching over to Claude Code because it really has created a wonderful, wonderful tool. So we'll just go over some simple things. Well, one day we'll just kind of dive into Claude completely. But today we just want to go over some simple things. Now, what is amazing? How they're able to get so many people. Not only does it have a chat, like we've been through open AI, we ChatGPT, we looked at Google Gemini. Everybody has a chat, which they do also. They have their chat where you can put in any information or any question that you want to, any prompt that you want to. Where it starts, I love there is some little features under that makes it even better. You now have the projects. Like I said, with OpenAI, I had just seen projects on OpenAI on ChatGPT, but Claude, from what I knew, started it. And so basically able to keep your ideas in one spot. But co-work. Okay, hello. Let me go to Claude Code first. Claude Code was where you were putting in code, like I was saying, like trying to find your code, trying to build things, trying to come up with that system to build things. Claude Code is top. Some of their large language models, I think Sonnet is the new one. But it it is premium, you guys. I mean, for as debugging, for writing out, it rarely misses. It has helped me. Um, but it really is. It's very good. Um, but I will say, out of all of them that I use the most, is Claude Cowork. Now, Claude Cowork, oh, if you're trying to build out systems or just want, not even build the system out, you just need a system. If you need the CRM, the project management, the schedulers, the email readers and different things like that, Claude Cowork is amazing. I love it. I I'll show you my projects. I've really built quite a few through it. Um the scheduler, I haven't really gotten into this. I'm still researching it on YouTube University. Uh, but it has been amazing. Dispatch, being able to communicate with your phone so you can take it up, pair it with your phone, take it with you. I haven't really did that yet. There's something I intend on doing. Especially kind of gotten used to using Telegram with OpenClaw, you kind of start to think, hey, this will be a little bit better. But but the skills. Okay, so two problems. Like I said before, we were talking about before with open AI with ChatGPT is that was previously previously a problem was trying to connect other systems like your Canva, like your NAN, like your Google calendar and different things like that to your to ChatGPT so that it could interact and it could help you along the way. There was a lot of API keys you had to switch and bring over and different things like that. And then it was like, oh, these are all open for access, and then you don't want to give out your API key. It was just a lot. Now one thing that I really, really love with Claude, I know we just saw the apps part on OpenAI, but Claude to me was kind of like forefront. The connectors was amazing. It was so much easier to integrate them into Claude, um, which was a great help for me. Um, and so that was cool. Then the other thing was skills. Like there were certain tasks and different things that you want to do. Uh, and there would be repetitive or like other people were doing them and it was like, how can I use this function in ChatGPT without actually having to go back through, hey, you are this, you can do this, telling it what to do over and over again. Skills, you guys, skills is a breakthrough. Skills is the breakthrough. You download the skill. As you can see, I have plug-in marketing. Once again, one of those things that I do all the time. Um, but the skill set, we're going to one day just walk through Claude completely. There will be a video. But skills to customize your Claude to work the way you want it to do what you want it to do. Oh, amazing, amazing. It was top notch. So the oh my god, the where they were coming from, what they were building, what they have built. Claude has like I said, it started off as just a chat, just like open AI with ChatGPT. Very simple beginning, but it has become a powerhouse. Not only have their large language models gotten a lot better, more accurate, hitting bookmarks that are really instrumental in. I've I heard the new I think it's Manus is their new large language model that they have out. That's supposed to be like the hacker of all, of all hackers, the top of all security for anything online. Oh, I really want to play with that. But they have they like I said, it's a beast. It's a beast. They really have created a all around great product if you are moving inside of the AI space. I still, like I said, I still use open AI. I do. I still, yes, I do. I know. Not as much. It's mainly been for a lot of visual. But then, and like I said, I want to look at start playing with Gemini and doing some things in Omni, playing with some of their image and video creation and notebook LM. I love various things in there, and it's already attached with Google and all of that. So that will be something that I'm, like I said, I'm going to start to do a little bit more on, and some of those things I'll bring you in. But Claude, yes, Anthropic, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, Claude Chat. It's amazing. It's a really, really good tool. And at the moment, if you are a small business, it would be my top suggestion. If you're going to use a large language model that will kind of fit into all parts of your life, I would I have to suggest Claude right now. One, because of the privacy thing and the surveillance, but also just because it's a really, really great product. It's worth the money. It really is. So let's look at some of their plans. And the plan isn't that bad. And pro, uh normally with my suggestion on how to move up in the large language model tiers is usually if you start to run out of tokens. If you go hard and you are looking up something and you are creating something and you keep running out of, if it keeps telling you, no, you have finished all of your chats for today. You can't do anything else until after 5 p.m. or tomorrow at 12. Then you move up. If you're trying to get to code or something like that, then you move up. You move up. Because AI can get very expensive. Running API keys off of this. You can't use this with Open Claude anymore. Anthropic was like, no. That's probably why I was like, oh, hold on, let me go and see what Claude can really do on its own. But so with API keys and stuff like that, you run into some issues. Anthropic really doesn't play that, but Google Gemini, all of those, they work with you. ChatGPT, not as bad. Um, and you still kind of get those levels, depending on their model, the model that you use, you still get a very high level of excellence. Uh, that's still accessible. But I think you can use Claude, but you have to go through the API key and it gets expensive. It gets expensive. That's one thing about these large language models. They're making money, that's how they make their money. I don't knock them. I understand, but it can get expensive, especially when you're going into high builds, when you're going into very detailed images, or you're really trying to push out a lot of text. It can get very expensive. So with all of them, I would say be cautious. um A lot of us builders have kind of knocked our head, prior, so we can kind of give you this information. But like I said, when you start to max out of your usage, then move on. That would be my suggestion. But these are the basics. There are other large language models out there. If you ever, most people, let me take you there. Oh, a lot of people don't really think about it because these are the ones that you hear quite a bit about. But there are other large language models out there, just a little bit scarier to use. And I'm saying scarier, which is it? No, it's relative, but they're not as nationally promoted. You don't really hear about them that much. Let me bring you to this screen. Okay, so this is Huggy Face. Hugging Face. Hugging Face, I found out as I'm going through my classes, as I'm going through certifications, there are thousands of other large language models out there. And like I said, a large language model is just like the basis of the information that this system is learning from. Google, everything kind of feeds, various models are fed different types of information or fed different types of information. And so they have a large database of certain types of information. Things like Google Gemini is feeding off of web searches and different things like that. So it has a lot of information that you can pull from. That's probably why they hit so high. Anthropic, I believe, OpenAI also have access to Google data. Well, Google search data or searching data. So that's how they're able to reach the bookmarks and different things like that they can, because they are pulling from such a large amount of information. But there are so many other large language models out there. So if you're an adventurous kind and if you're a builder, I would say try Hugging Face. You can use it through the VPS. Kind of getting a little techie, but you can use a VPS, click in, try out a different version. Like we have Grok here, which is what's his name? I can't believe I can't remember his name. But you know Grok. Grok, damn, what is his name? Musk. Yes, Elon Musk's uh large language model. So there are other models out there, other types of, I would say, I'm not, Grok has its issues. I have my issues with Grok too, but there's so many other large language models out there that if you are, Quinn, this right here, Quinn, love, 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 love Quinn. I love Quinn. DeepSeek, it is Chinese. It is a Chinese version, uh large language model, but very good. DeepSeek was one of the first ones that I knew that you could use as a local language model on your computer. The first one I heard about was DeepSeek. So these are other language models that if you're looking for other options or you're looking for different versions or you're trying to get different answers or you just want to experiment for like your open class system or any other builds that you may be building for is pulling information from, there's other options out there that are, see, Google Gemini. They're here. NVIDIA has other versions. These are versions that are being built. This is most likely where, well, this is where you'll be able to find my large language model when I start. But you'll know it'll be housed right here. But there's other large language models out there, other forms of generative AI that specialize in various things. There are some that are amazing with visuals. There's some that are amazing with deep research. There are some that are amazing for his videos. So, if you want to be adventurous, you want to try get out the norm. If you're a builder, come and check Hugging Face out. But that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you once again for joining me. I love these videos. I love learning. And I love being able to show the different things that I am learning. But like I said, I know this was kind of basic. This was a really basic video, but I wanted to take a step back, as I was saying before, so that we could start to create a foundation for everything else that we're building on top of this, so that we can kind of get um a baseline for this channel, because it's really cool the things that you could do with AI, but if you also should understand what you're using, and I think that will help us as we are going forward and building things and trying to make safeguards and trying to protect ourselves and trying to make sure that we're getting the answers and doing the things that we really want to do with it. That we need a baseline, that we need to start with certain information and certain knowledge, as because you should know what you're playing with. You should know what you're playing with. So and you should know what you're using. Everything technology can be a little hard to understand and hard to comprehend sometimes, but at the very basis, some things are very simple. Some ideas are very simple, and I'm here to break those down for you so that you can know what you're doing. I believe that, in all things get understanding. So you should at least understand what you're using. Once again, I am Jackie Brown. This is Brown and AI. Mwah, 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 mwah. Love you all. Thank you so very much for joining me. I always love the support. I will put it out there anyway. I do this for myself. So, and I just love that you all love to join along. So, looking forward to the next video. Not quite sure what I'm going to go on to next, but as I said, check out the AI Basics series that the videos are coming through. Just going over some of the basics of the of AI, so we can get a foundation so that we'll know what we're using. I also have created um a booklet on AI. It's called AI for the Rest of Us. To kind of break down some of these concepts that we're talking about in the basic series and that we're just using, some of the tools, just breaking it down for the everyday person. Like I said, I'm trying to make the point of this channel is not only to build wonderful things and create new tools and new things for people, for individuals, for businesses, but to also to make AI understandable for everyone, for the kid that has to use it for their research projects, to the older adult that really doesn't get technology, but the kids keep talking about this GPT. You know what I'm saying? So I said, or if it's popping up on your phone, like I said, Google Gemini is something that comes up on your phone, and when you put something into Google search. So you need to know where this is coming from. AI isn't as scary as it may seem. It's very it's very simple, and I try to break that down here. So join me for the next video. Thank you very much. Have a great day.